and now coming off of the pitch, and perhaps you're not hearing it, but now the tension has been clearly reduced.
How unpleasant did you find the atmosphere in the stadium, Guillaume?
So from the moment that Vinicius scores the goal, obviously Benfica fans were upset. But from the moment that it became clear that it heard Pastrani saying something to him as he had been hiding his mouth and went to the referee, he who was the victim really became the enemy. And from then on, you heard a stadium that was much noisier than it had been in the previous minutes, when the speculation of both sides, where they weren't risking too much, meant that the noise wasn't the usual one. It's described here sometimes as hell. But from the minute 59, especially every time Mbappé and Vinicius touched the ball, the fans showed their disgust towards them. And that's something that UEFA will have to take note. It got to a point where things were throwing, especially around the corner area. And when Vini and Trent were going to take a corner, the referee, applying perhaps common sense, were asking them, there was going to be a substitution, let's do the substitution, don't get into the corner, because it will incite the fans. But yeah, the arguments continue now. This Rui Costa, the chairman, is trying in the middle of it. This Benfica staff that's trying to go to the changing room of Real Madrid and is being stopped. Quite clearly, UEFA don't want nothing of this to be filmed, but the tension is really happening behind us. Some of the staff have tried to get to the Real Madrid changing room, and journalists and everybody is trying to get to the position, and it won't be that way because the discussions continue. Rui Costa, can we speak to you?
Good try, Guillaume. I appreciate you trying. Can I just say very quickly, if you were watching the game between Dortmund and Atalanta over on the Golazo Network, welcome along to our coverage. We're just kind of mopping up the aftermath of the game between Benfica and Real Madrid, which was played in Lisbon, where there was an unpleasant incident of what seemed to be racial abuse towards Vini Jr. Guillaume, you've given us an incredible insight into kind of what's happening, now that the final whistle has gone. Does it feel like very familiar territory to Vini Jr. for you in terms of what he has had to deal with on a pitch, often playing at home in La Liga and now going to Benfica and playing there?
The story of Vini starts in a favela. From the moment he comes out of that favela when he was a kid, the whole world is against him. And that's something that Spanish football, and perhaps football in general, have not understood. He looks at the world as a hostile place. So, of course, now that he feels that he's got a platform where he can be heard, he's going to fight against that. And people are saying, don't behave like that. Don't jump when people provoke you. Don't provoke others. But he sees the world as a hostile place. In here now, I think he feels everybody's listening. He's been very emotional in the past when he's been insulted. Now he just goes at those that he feels are going against him. And quite clearly, Pastrani has done something really, really wrong that I feel Mbappé has heard as well. So at the moment, we'll need to have more information about it. But yeah, it's a place where Vinicius has got the right to protest. He is the victim, and I don't think football, fans in general, too tribal, don't fully get it.
Again, we're going to leave you to try and figure out what you can. Maybe you can get to speak to somebody over there. We'll see if you can. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thierry, I'd love to get your opinion on this.
I can relate to what Vinicius Jr is going through. That happened to me so many times on the field. I talked about it so many times after games. I've been also accused of looking for excuses after game when that happened to me. So at times you feel lonely because it's going to be your word against his word. And so because we don't know what Pastrani has said, because he was very courageous because he put his shirt over his mouth to make sure that we're not going to see what he said. So clearly already you look suspicious, because you don't want people to see or read what you said. Then the reaction of Vinicius is telling me that something not right happened. So we're going to have to wait to see what's been said, because we still don't know. Vinicius can tell us his side, and Pastrani, I'm sure, will not tell us what he actually said, because I saw at one point it was Kylian Mbappé that confronted him, and he said to Kylian, I didn't say anything. Well, you must have said something, at the very least. So where I go back to sometimes it's lonely, and you feel like you don't know what to do anymore, because I've been in that situation. Vinicius has been in that situation. So many players have been in that situation. So we're in 2026, and still after a game like that, where we're supposed to talk about his brilliant goal, and the only answer that he had is that goal they won by 1-0, and I heard him saying "à la Madrid" at the very end. But technically, you shouldn't be having to deal with the ref telling you don't go to the corner flag because that will incite the crowd. It's a corner. I cannot take my corner. Like, I can't go there also to take a corner just because people are thinking whatever they're thinking. As Mike has said, obviously they didn't have the info of what happened, but then suddenly he becomes the victim. He can't go and take a corner. What do you mean he can't go and take a corner? Why can he not stay there and play a short corner? Anyway, I can relate. And I can assure you, when that happens, you don't know what to do anymore. So he tried to walk out one time in Spain, if I remember well, away. Then another time, he tried to kick someone back because he had enough. Now he went to see the referee to tell him what happened. I've been there. The referee also told me I can't do anything about it. As you can see, they couldn't do anything about it. They go and see people to try to see what they can do about it. Because they don't know what happened and what's been said, they cannot take action. But let's see how big of a man Cristiano is. Tell us what you said. You must have said something, because you can't go and say to Mbappe after, I didn't say anything. What do you mean you didn't say anything? So you cover your nose for what? You have a cold?
He's a coward, man.
In case you weren't watching this game, you were watching one of the other games that we had going on live. Let's show you kind of how this all unfolded. It all was initiated and started here in this moment. This is Vinicius Jr celebrating his goal that made it 1-0 for Real Madrid. And this is where we went from here. So this is the moment where we're seeing Cristiano pull his shirt up over his mouth, say something. You'll see.
That's the first reaction now.
Immediately react, yeah.
And Kylian is nowhere near the situation, by the way. It's Vini that told him after what has been said. That's why Kylian was upset.
That's the sign that initiates the racism protocol that Guillaume was telling us about.
And from that sign, what do you do? It's nice to do the sign. Okay, I can do the sign also. And then...
Yeah, it'd be interesting to talk to Christina Uncle, wouldn't it, and find out what do they actually do.
I like it. It's a nice sign. But what comes from that?
That was the moment that you were saying Cristiano said I didn't say anything.
Yeah. It was like,
Christina Uncle is actually with us. Let's bring her in 1 second. She's our FIFA rules expert. Christina, what is the protocol? Once the sign is made, what is then supposed to happen?
Yeah, so that no racism abuse sign, the indication of the X, it not only just triggers in the sense of everyone's aware of what's occurring or what has been said that has happened, which, as you can see, the French referee there, not close to the incident and did not hear it. It immediately sends the VAR looking into the audio, seeing if any of the audio mics might have picked up that information, immediately notifies your assistant referees and your fourth official what's happening. And it also objectively, from an objective standard, notifies your technical staff there that this is now a bigger conversation than maybe a red card for, just some other words, but this has been heightened and elevated because it is a human rights issue, right? It's not needed in this game. It's unacceptable in this game. And as you heard TT say, right, it affects that player. It affects the performance of the game. It affects them to be able to play in that game. So the protocol here for that referee then is to basically be bringing in the technical staff. As you saw, they kind of escalated the situation as well too, to advise them of the scenario, the situation, the high level and, the scrutiny that is going to have to be done there. Usually internally within that stadium, they're usually making an announcement as to those points as to what the situation is so that the fans understand the sensitivity of what's happening, and that is just being timed out for no particular reason, but the sensitive nature of that. But like I said, for the most part, from us as an official standpoint, when you see that sign, everyone jumps into a higher level of action of what they're looking for and what they're trying to get to be able to put that allegation, because that allegation is naturally a very high high allegation to raise, and it's not taken lightly by the referees. It's obviously not something within the laws of the game in the sense of the playing of the game, but it's something that we do not take lightly as well. So there's a kind of a further internal investigation that's trying to happen then and there to find the evidence at that moment. And as we saw there was unfortunately nothing that was able to be done from it because the referee didn't hear anything. Audio didn't pick up on any of the information, but it also signals to the competition and the match observer for that time to be able to start making that incident report and start to capturing any evidence, any kind of comments and statements, right? Particularly going to Vinicius Jr and trying to get out from him what was said. So it's more than just a sign. It literally enacts basically an investigation at that time of what's occurring. But as we see the referee there, if you don't have anything to act on it, then yes, you do have to begin the game again.
So sorry, Christina. So you have zero power technically. You can't even if he wanted to by a feeling that he had or whatever, he can't do anything.
You can always, as a referee, always have the decision whether or not to determine to abandon the match or to continue with the match, right? And so you're taking into assertion whether or not is it a safe enough environment to be able to begin it. But I think back to your point, TT, unless you have heard that, you can't necessarily fully abandon the match based upon what one person said versus what another person said if there's not enough evidence that the referee himself or herself has heard.
Can I just ask one more question? Sorry. So if nothing was heard at the time, what would happen now in an investigation? Because it's already been found that there is no audio, there is no evidence. So do we just move on from this? Is that all that happens?
So from the referee's perspective, it's the immediate audio that they can have access to, right? Not saying that if there's a further investigation by the competition, by the Champions League themselves, they can do further investigations and maybe there's something that wasn't for some reason able to be picked up in the immediate mics that the VARs have. But now it escalates and now it becomes a Champions League. It becomes UEFA's investigation to determine. And that's the next steps that go on whether or not there is something there that they can hold him against. But it now comes outside of the referee's purview and now jumps into the league.
Okay, understood. All right, thank you. So good to see you. We appreciate you. Thank you for the explanation.
Thank you.
Bye, Christina. All right, guys, We're going to go to a very short... Disappointing. Is that essentially what that means from you?
Yeah, I actually don't know anymore, really, because the guy ended up being the victim at the end. Not being able to take a corner, don't go there, don't do this, don't do that, they're booing him. There's no way that if people understood what was happening on the field, if they've been told, they still were booing him. We saw at one point someone throwing a bottle on him, and you saw some guys in the stand that you're going to see here, like realizing that he received the bottle, clapping. I don't know if we're going to have the right angle. I saw it before. Some people are going. He's going to clap. Well done on the side. He was about to clap. Really? Regardless of whatever happened, you don't want to see anyone throwing a bottle at anyone anyway. I just, I told you I can relate because you feel lonely. This is why I like the reaction of the Real Madrid players, as you would expect that. When you see a teammate in this type of situation, you're going to believe him straight away, obviously. I like the reaction. And the game was finished, and at the end of the day, yes, Vinicius scored, but once again, it's not something you want to see. Like I said to you, I'm going to repeat myself, I've been in that situation. It's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and not being able to prove it. That's what, when you can't even, he's going to say no, obviously, whatever, regardless of what it is. He already said to Mbappe, I didn't say anything. What do you mean you didn't say anything? Why did you cover your nose? You didn't say anything? That's weird. Anyway.
Yeah, it's hard to know how to move it forward, isn't it? We do have more to discuss about this game. Obviously, we're going to go to a very quick break. We'll be right back with you in just a second. Good to have you with us. Welcome to our post-match show here, a Champions League coverage for you. Kate, Thierry, Jamie and Micah. Obviously, that incident that we've just been discussing at length surrounding Vinny Jr in the Real Madrid match against Benfica in Lisbon is going to dominate the headlines. But we also want to show you the action from the game and go back over that just quickly. So let's take a look and pick up with you, Micah. Where do you want to start?
I'll go Real Madrid chances. I mean, we talked about the game that the boys so eloquently talked about before in their analysis, but I thought Real Madrid had some really good chances, especially in that first half. Vinicius and Mbappe, Thierry talked about them in terms of their movement, their work rate together.
I go back inside. And you thought you would have bet on him here to open up his foot and finish easily.
All the goals game for him.
Yeah. He does miss sometimes. He's human.
And then this was a save, wasn't it? I mean, Gula, it was really good strike. Fingertip save by the goalkeeper. Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Benfica, I felt before the game, they'd had the real big chance last time we played against Real Madrid, and the strike there from Guinness.
Deflection.
Brilliant save from Courtois, Rob Keane on co-coms.
And then the goal, exactly who you do not want to see. Mbappe on the ball, Vinicius cutting back inside, and what a finish.
Wow.
Wow.
Top.
That's a great goal. We're going to go more into details after.
Are we?
Oh, yeah, normally, if we have time.
He knows exactly where the goal is.
What a finish.
Touch, finish, and a little dance to finish it off.
This is where we're seeing Jose Mourinho ending up getting a red card from the ref. He was basically trying to incite the ref to give Vini Jr a second yellow. He ended up red carded himself, so he'll miss the return leg that's going to be played at the Bernabeu next time. But we did also see, excuse me, everybody, this incident with Fede Valverde, which wasn't seen by the ref or by VAR, but it's worth mentioning, Micah.
Yeah, it was TT calls it a punch. Oh, did you say it's a punch, TT? Well, I mean, it goes there. You'll see it again on the reverse angle here.
So they called a foul. So how come VAR didn't call it back?
Yeah.
Bam.
Look, he punched him already. Punched him. You know what? If he stays down longer, I think they'll look at it more. I think VAR missed that one.
Whether you stay down longer,
but
it's still the same impact. What's going to change? They didn't call it
because
back.
it will highlight the action more.
No,
you see it on Dahlia.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what? He
didn't.
catches his shoulder first and then his face. You can't go around doing that.
He's very lucky.
He's very lucky.
Yes.
On another day, that could have been a red card. I'm surprised it wasn't, to be honest. But they got a little bit of luck they needed.
If we think about some of the things that Mourinho said before this first leg, he said, Real Madrid are going to be wounded and dangerous. Do you think that applies even more now going into this second leg, given that you kind of the incidents surrounding Vinny Jr and how they will have taken offence as a team on his behalf, Jamie?
The team and also the crowd, when you get to the Bernabeu as well. But listen, I think we saw tonight, and I think it was what we all expected, in the analysis we did before the game. The game from 3 weeks ago was fantastic, but there's a huge gulf between both of the teams, and to think Benfica were going to do what they did again, there was no way. Real Madrid were very professional tonight. Had even in the first half, all the chances that we showed, Benfica were never in the game, and Real Madrid were never going to allow Benfica to do what they did in the first game, counter-attack them so often, which is what we analysed before the game. And I'd expect Real Madrid to go win that game at home 2 or 3-0.
We can actually go back out to Lisbon and to Guillaume Balaguer, who's speaking with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Let's take a listen in.
Coming through the tunnel, as you can imagine. I don't know if you had a chance to cross paths with Vinny, how he feels.
Oh, I think Vinny's, he's had incidents like this before. He's been subjected to this numerous times throughout his career. So, not that he's used to it, but he's experienced this before. I think he, it's an emotional game. He's gone through something very disappointing tonight, disgraceful to the sport. But he's handled it right. Like I say, we go back home with the win, and we try and see it through to get through to the next round.
You sound affected. I'm not surprised. It's going to take a while to get over this, I think.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Like I said, it's ruined the night. It's a disgrace to the sport. It's a disgrace in society as well. There's no place for it. But no, if incidents like this do happen and does happen, then we can only deal with it the way that we did tonight. Very proud of the team and the club and the squad and how everyone reacted and got around Vinny. You can see, it is something upsetting, it's something disappointing, but we reacted the right way. We kept our heads, we stayed calm, we fought for each other, we defended each other, and we also played very well.
Thank you, Trent.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Micah, do you want to react at all to that?
I mean, I've said what I've had to say. I mean, a disgrace to the sport. I mean, if he did say it, he's absolutely correct. But again, because he covered his mouth, we're just guessing. We're reacting on what Vinicius. If you asked me, do I think he did it? I would say yes, because of Vinny Jr.'s reaction. You don't go over to there and run to the referee if you didn't get racially abused. And then the fact that it went on and on and on. And obviously he's told the boys in the dressing room, Trent's come out and said, and if he's a disgrace. You used the correct terminology in this case. And look at them. The way this is what happens. So if you get racially abused, I haven't been racially abused on the pitch, but I've been racially abused out of football. And you go through this feeling where you feel lost, you feel alone, and you feel like helpless. And then to imagine that being on the pitch and still having to perform as well. And then you're pleading to people and nobody believes what you're saying. So that is the hurtful thing. And we might never know if he did it or not, because there might not be the evidence for that. But I feel for Vinicius Jr in this situation because he's helpless.
Yes, sir. Sad to see. All right, everybody, we are going to go to a very quick break. So let's do a live dip into... I thought we were, are we not?
We're not going to a break. We're not going to a break, not yet. We are going to a break now.
Yeah, we are in a second.
We'll see you in a little while.
Wait, hold on, I'm getting there. I wanted to tell everybody at home that our good friend Nico, who is with us here in London on match day 8, we have sent him to...
Hello and welcome along to the Champions League highlight show with 4 first-leg playoff games to bring you, and we will start in Lisbon this evening with the match between Benfica and Real Madrid. Karen Carney and Joe Cole are alongside me, and this is a tough one to talk about. First of all, Joe, there was an allegation of racist abuse against Vinicius Jr in this game, which we're going to look at in a moment, but we should be celebrating, first of all, a moment of absolute brilliance from him, which came 5 minutes into the second half.
Genius. It lit up the game. It's just like certain players, and he's one of them, like these elite world players, they'll do things like this, and it was a wonderful finish. You know, you're celebrating in front of the Benfica fans. We'll get into that later, but look at that. That is a thing of beauty. It's an art form. He struck it with his right foot. And here, on this occasion, he gets booked for his celebration. The Benfica fans, the Benfica players come over. And there is Prestiani, I think, who's being pulled away from there, who's the alleged culprit, Linz, in that occasion.
He's given the yellow card there for those over-exuberant celebrations, shall we say.
I've got no problem with a yellow card, and I've also got no problems with Vinicius because his character. And this is the situation. That's cowardly. If you've got something to say to someone, don't lift your listen, we can't say what the kid said because he's holding his mouth up, but just the act of holding your face, your mouth, your hand across your face, is cowardly. And Vinicius says something to this situation.
They're just about to kick off here, and Prestiani says something. Again, the shirt is over the face, and Vinicius Jr immediately runs over to the referee to report something here. Now, we know he's reporting racist abuse because we see the referee put his arms in the cross, so he's activating the anti-racism protocol in that match there following that report.
Yeah, I mean, the protocol is there for a reason. It's good to see that it's been used. Obviously now it's down, the protocol's been put in place. It'll be now down to UEFA and everybody involved to find out what happened and what's said, because it's been reported, and it's really important to find there's the protocol put in place there. And it's really important now to find out what's happened, because like Joe said, he lifted up his shirt, as he's showing there, Vinicius Jr, you know, they'll have to get to the bottom of what was said. But, you know, what's sad is that it's been overshadowed by an amazing goal. But what it has is it's started these conversations, because if there is racial abuse, you know, UEFA will have to come down and be strong about this and make sure it doesn't happen. And particularly with someone like Vinny Jr, who has been vocal about this and spoken about this lots,
this
that he's
not the
received
first time he's had to
then
deal
things
with
will have
something
to
like
be
this
in place. But I think with the protocol in and it being, you know, mentioned by Vinicius to activate the protocol, there'll have to be a big investigation to find out exactly what was said and what's happened.
Whatever was said, Joe, you could see how distressed he was. He sat in the dugout for quite some time and wasn't coming back on the pitch. He did in the end. That in itself is brave, whatever's gone on, because you could see how distressed he was by the whole incident.
I think, listen, it's a tricky situation for UEFA to navigate through, because the protocol's there for the right reasons, right? Football needs to be, you know, it's in the spotlight, and you have an ability to put, you know, things like racism, to stamp them out. I think there's an easy solution for this. UEFA, if any player is talking to another player covering his face, right? There's cameras everywhere in Champions League games, right? There's no way UEFA are going to be tomorrow morning. They're going to be looking for. I'm sure Vinicius Jr will said something. I'm sure Prestiani will said something else, right? Now he's clearly got his face covered talking to Vinny Jr there, and I think now UEFA need to do more on the protocol and say when there's an incident like that, any player saying anything, if me and Karen having a conversation, if you're covering your mouth, yellow card, red card straight away, because it gives some. Listen, it's cowardly in any situation. Whatever you say, if you're talking to someone, you should be able to stand by whatever you say. So there's no doubt he said something very, very, very bad that's affected Vinicius Jr. But UEFA are in a predicament because they're going to have one person saying one thing and they're going to have someone else saying the other thing. And I think to really do it properly and activate this, if we're on a football pitch and we've got the whole of the world watching us as footballers and we're role models, whatever we say, we have to stand by it. So what I would say, I don't know what the kid said. You can't say he's guilty because...
But covering the face and saying something to rule that out.
Covering your face is cowardly in any situation, and that needs to be stopped. And that way, none of these players are going to say anything wrong, So it's a messy situation for UEFA. I like the fact that they're taking a stand against racism because, obviously we want to help stamp it out, as they say. But I think there needs to be a little extension onto that to stop situations like this. Because tomorrow, there's going to be massive pressure on UEFA to stand by Vinicius Jr and believe what he says. But you're in a situation where, it's going to be one person's word against the other. Does that make sense? Yeah?
But we've got Vinicius Jr doing the right thing, reporting it immediately on the pitch, and he will expect to be believed and for action to be taken when that full investigation takes place.
Yeah, look, he's done everything right. First and foremost, he's an unbelievable player that's scored an unbelievable goal that will be overshadowed, like I mentioned earlier. He's gone over and reported what he feels he has heard.
Yeah.
And the protocol has been put in place. Now, as Joe said, you have to go and do an investigation into it. It's been reported, and from Vinicius Jr.'s perspective, he will hope that the right thing is done. And if there is evidence and everything to support that there has been a form of racist abuse, then UEFA will have to act strongly on it. And but this is a player that's been subject to it a lot.
Numerous times,
and he's spoken about it. And as a human being, he's rightfully had enough about it. And, so, like I said, there'll be an investigation, I'm sure, and the protocol is there, and UEFA will have to act upon it.
And this is a genius footballer, Joe, and once again, we're not talking about a magic moment on the football pitch from him. We're talking about these ugly scenes.
Yeah, he is a genius footballer. And he's clearly a lad that's, I don't think he's lying. That's definitely, I want to put out there. I think if he said he's heard something that he doesn't like, that's for sure. Again, I just think it's a question of the protocols. It's good, but it's not enough. If you need to sit down with these players and say, you have to, if you're going to speak on a football pitch and you're in the arena, you have to own it because it leaves doubt in people's minds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's a messy moment, But Vinicius Jr, he done the right thing. Do you know what I mean? He's had enough with all of the rubbish he's been taking, and he's standing up for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And there will be a full investigation now from
investigation.
UEFA. I'm sure that match, though, ended